Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy D Nice of Fly Nation TV. And first off, I would like to say congratulations for trying out our new sneakers bypass beta. Basically, the only difference is that recently sneakers or Nike, whichever you want to call it, made an update where it detects emulators, rooted devices, and same as jailbroken devices. Usually, after you submit, when they detect it and they see it, you'll get either Instabook or usually in this case, you get a network error or connection error, either one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to do that, how to bypass it. I already got the app made for you guys. It's pretty much going to do all the hard work, and then you can just run the script just like those that have the previous sneaker pass scripts. You can just run it regularly, and even better that you don't even need a rooted Android. You can just use any Android device because you're gonna need the actual device ID of that device, and we could put it here. And I'm gonna show you guys all of this. So step one is you're gonna download the file that's given to you by email. So when you open the zip file, you should have three folders, and you should have the emulator and the correct version that I'm using. You have to make sure you use this version, because if you don't use this version, what happens is you're gonna get an error when you're gonna try to bypass. So everything in here should be the same. You should get emulator bypass files. You should see a Fly Nation bypass. Same goes for Expose LD player. Then you have your sneaker bypass files, which is basically the test right here, or your profiles, and then the actual sneaker pass, which you'll be using to run. Um, and then you need this folder. All right, don't even worry about what's in the folder. You're gonna need this folder, and I'll show you guys where to put this folder in a second. And then you should have the actual emulator. Now, if you don't have any of these in there, please DM me, let me know, and I'll get the files that you need. The next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that your virtualization is enabled. Now, this is why you cannot use a server, because if you use a server, you're not going to be able to enable your virtualization, because you need to have actual access to your BIOS. And for as far as I know, the actual servers don't have any access to any BIOS, because you need to physically have access. The next thing you need to do is you need to well, we're not even gonna go next. We're gonna real quick. We're gonna go to Task Manager. So you're gonna right click your logo, Task Manager, and then you go to Performance. So you go to your performance, right? So your performance here, it pretty much tells you everything like your specs and whatnot. But in this case, you need to make sure your virtualization is enabled, which is actually let me use the cursor so you can see. There we go. So your virtualization, it's hard to see, but right here, enabled. All right. If it's disabled, what you need to do is, depending on what brand you have. So let's say if I have Asus, like how to, um, one second. Oh, there we go. How to enable V8. Wow. Looks like it got a mind of its own. So you're gonna go to how to enable VT, which is your virtualization, and so let's say for Asus, I spelled that wrong. So it goes for Asus. You can actually look up whatever, but in this case, I personally, you know what? Let me make it easier. Um, I mean, whatever brand that you have, right? It should be like the first two or three. I mean, whichever you want to choose. But usually, um, you have your access there, and then once you enable your virtualization, then you restart your PC and whatnot. Then you can go ahead and install LD player. Now, be mindful when you install your LD player. They're gonna ask you to install additional stuff. All right, you're just gonna reject that, because that's basically malware. You don't want to get any viruses or anything like that. So you want to just reject whatever offer. So pay attention when you install. If they ask you to install something else outside of LD player, you reject it. and then you just continue to install. So once you install, all right, this should load up. So when this loads up, we're gonna go ahead and do the correct setup, and from there you should pretty much be good because this is not that hard. So once it loads up, there we go. It should look like this. All right, cool. So we're gonna just simply close this. We don't need that right now. All right, cool. So once it loads up, the LD store usually pops up the first time that you open it. You're gonna just close that. You don't need that right now. What you need to do is you need to go to the settings icon right here on the top right, and then from there, you're gonna change your resolution to 1600 by 900 with a DPI of 240, and then everything else you stay the same. You don't need to raise your RAM. Trust me on that. And then that's it. I mean, that's the good thing about it. You know, you don't have to do too much to set up. Everything is already set for you. Now, be mindful. If you did not enable virtualization, it'll either show one core or two cores at max. You want to make sure you enable your virtualization, because once you do that, you will be able to have access to 4 cores, because you're going to need 4 cores for the correct speed and the correct performance. So after you save it, they're going to ask you to restart it. You just go ahead and restart now. So it's going to restart. So when it restarts, there we go. So once it restarts, the resolution should be a little bigger. Should be like this. That's cool. Oh, be mindful too. You want to make sure your display settings, right? If you have 2 monitors, like I have 2 monitors, you want to make sure the main one is being used. So this right here, if you highlight at 1 and then you see make this my main display, this is monitor 1. So whatever monitor 1 is, make sure that's your main display, because if it's not your main display, then the script is not going to recognize it, and you pretty much, it won't pretty much do anything. So right here, the scale and layout, make sure it's at 100%, make sure it's at 1920 by 1080, both staying recommended. But if it's not, just put it 1920 by 1080 and 100%. All right, cool. Now, once that's set, and once you have your settings set, you just go into your Play Store. All right, so when you sign in, let me, 1 second, let me sign in. Just give me a second. Let's do... All right, cool. So I already signed in on one of my burner email accounts, and then from there you just accept. Actually, you don't even need to accept. Just unclick that and then accept, and then you should be able to have access to the Play Store. The only thing you're gonna really download is you're gonna download a couple of things. 3 things actually. Sneakers. All right, you're gonna download the Sneakers app. Install. All right, cool. And you're gonna hit no thanks. So it's installing, and then while that's installing, you're gonna install Google Maps. All right, install. And the last thing is device ID. The reason you're gonna need device ID is you're gonna need to check exactly what your device ID is, and we're gonna go through that in a second. Okay, cool. So we got those 3 apps installed. Cool. So now that's set, let's go into our Android settings, and we're gonna scroll down to date and time real quick. Cool. You're gonna leave these checked. Make sure that automatic date and time is checked. Also, make sure that automatic time zone is checked. What you need to do too is you want to make sure. Let me show you something here. No, you're gonna go to your settings, and real quick, you're gonna go to time and language. You're gonna make sure both of these are set automatically as well. So once those 2 are set, you're fine. You're good to go. The next thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna go back, and then you're gonna go to your apps. All right, you're gonna go to your apps, and you're gonna go to a couple of things. You're gonna go to map, and you're gonna go to permissions. Your permission location should be on, and that's it. You don't need anything else. And you're gonna go down to sneakers, and same thing. You're gonna have your location, and your contact and your storage. Just those three. You don't need to have contacts. Okay, cool. Now that's set, you're good to go. The reason that you want to set those on is because whenever you run your sneaker pass, it's gonna detect your location. So if your location permission is not on, they're gonna stop and ask you for your permission first before it goes to your the stores to select to reserve. If pretty much if you don't do that, then you're pretty much gonna take an L because it's gonna stall you. You know what I'm saying? You want to be as quick as possible, so you don't want any time wasted. Okay, great. Now, we're gonna go back here into the zip file, right? So now all you need to do is you're gonna go to your C drive, right? So whatever your C drive is, let me find it here. All right, so this is my C drive, okay? And you want to put this right here, sneakers V2. You want to just drag it onto your C drive. I like to put it right here just in case it misses. Oh, 1 second. There we go. And just want to drag it right here. I already have it. I just noticed that. So I already have it. So your sneakers V2, just put it in the C drive folder. Not the entire zip, just the folder inside it. And then you can close it. And then you can extract, if you want, you can extract this here, which I'll do right now. And I'll extract this too. Okay, cool. So now both of those are extracted. And then you can just close that. So you're good to go. Now, the next thing you want to do, you want to just open emulator bypass files. And you just want to drag these onto this. So you're going to do it one by one. So first thing you're going to do is either one is fine. So let's do Foundation bypass. And you'll see this right here. It's successfully dissolved. It's installing. And then it will say install, try it. We're not going to try it just yet. We're going to go ahead and just drag exposed. Same thing. You can close that. You won't need that anymore. All right. Both of those are installed. Cool. Now, what you got to do is you're going to open expose installer. Do not show this again. Hit OK. And then you'll see expose framework is not installed. So we're going to install this real quick. So you're just going to go below version 89, install. And then you're going to remember this choice forever and allow it. So right now it's installing. So once it installs, you're going to just you're going to reboot it. So just restart. Just give it a second. All right, cool. Now that it's installing, we're almost done, by the way, guys. So that's a good thing about this feature, that it loads pretty fast. It's not limited like BlueStacks. You can actually manipulate it. You can do so much to this, man. This is pretty awesome. All right, so now that it's installed, you're gonna just see here if you have the green check mark, expose framework version 89 is active. Boom, we're good to go. Now, real quick, you're gonna go to downloads, and we're gonna look for something called device ID masker light. There we go. Boom. You're gonna install that too. You're gonna click it. You go to versions, and then you go to download, and then you install, and then you hit done. Don't worry about that yet. We're gonna close this. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to go to modules, and then you're going to see two. You're going to see the Foundation bypass, the device ID masker light. So you're just going to check those and then restart. So when you restart, it's already good. That means you can now run your Foundation bypass, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that right now. So it's very simple. Shout out to PUBG, by the way, because I can test that anytime I want. So I noticed that PUBG and sneakers, they use the same detection software. Well, not detection software, the detection script onto their apps. And for sneakers, for you to detect that, you have to sneaker pass has to be active. But for PUBG, I could test that anytime I want, and luckily it was able to work. So yeah, shout out to PUBG for that one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna open Fly Nation bypass, and you're just gonna clear data real quick, and then you're gonna click bypass, and then you're gonna remember this choice forever, and then you're gonna allow it. Now every time you close and you open it, okay, you see successfully bypass. You can run the game now. You're good to go. But every time you close and open it, make sure you open Fly Nation bypass and you click re-bypass. All right, you want to clear your data, re-bypass. You want to keep doing that every time you close and open it, just for that way everything is fresh. There's like no errors, no like corrupt files in there. You want to just clear the data first, then it'll re-bypass to a whole new one. Okay, so now that's set. We're gonna show you how to use the map. Now, luckily, LD Player updated their maps. Something used to be wrong where it used to give errors, but now it's working now. So it's very simple. You don't need to use any apps or anything like that. You're just gonna put in a random location. So let's put in Nike Lab, New York. Okay, so you see that it will load it up. You just click on that, and then you can just click anywhere. There we go. Just click anywhere. If you see the little marker right there, that means it's located there. And then you just close it. Now, for you to see if it works, you're going to open Google Maps. And you look like, yeah, boom, we're right here. Lower Manhattan. We're good to go. So that's it. And you're going to leave this open. Don't close it. And then after that, you log into your sneakers account. Let me log in real quick. So when you log into your sneakers account, we're just gonna simply test our scripts. And give me a second. This is somebody else's name. Let me take care of that real quick. There we go. What the fuck? Alright, hold on one second. 1 second. Something's not right here. Okay. Okay. So we're good now. We're logged in. All right. Perfect. Sorry about that. So now that we logged in, we're gonna pretty much test the scripts, and it's very simple, right? You're gonna go here. Actually, no. Let me. Wait, this is it. Yeah, what I'm talking about. All right, so we got the bypass, and then we're gonna go to profile test, and these 5 files here outside of this, don't worry about this. Just leave that where it's at. Don't touch it. Don't move it. We're gonna test everything. So what's gonna happen next is, once everything is set, we're gonna just open one by one. And here's another change, by the way. So usually on the bottom right, you'll see this little macro scheduler icon. You're not gonna see that anymore because it's hard to close it. So I made it easier for you guys, and also I can actually look and see who's using it, who's not using it. And all you gotta do is just double click this. All right, so I have if you do have a antivirus software, it's gonna check something, but then it's gonna approve it. So we're gonna just wait until this is done. So when this is done, this should appear. All right, so when that appears, wait, it's gonna open again. God damn it. Even though it says virus, the reason it says it might cause a virus because it's an unrecognizable exe. This is something that I made out of my own. So we're gonna fix that real quick. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? just to get it over with. I'm just gonna disable for about 10 minutes. All right, so we're gonna open this. So when that open, um, this would appear, right? You won't see anything yet. That's fine. You will not see anything yet because it didn't click on anything. But once you see this, just minimize it. All right, that means it's running. So right now it is running until it finds the draw terms, which is basically inside the settings, which I'm gonna go through right now. So you'll see that, and then you'll see settings, minimize it, legal terms, minimize it, help, minimize it, and then the last thing is account, which will be this right here. So I'm gonna click on that, and then you'll see the results from there. So let's go ahead and click on it. Yeah, so it clicked on everything that it needs to. All right, all of the files is gone now. That means it stopped playing because it found it. And yeah, so it works fine. It's good to go. Um that's pretty much it for now. So whenever Sneaker Pass comes up, all right, you'll refresh it, and then let's scroll down just a little bit, and then you'll see something like Sneaker Pass and whatnot. You'll see Sneaker Pass. You see reservations opening soon. Um, it's clean now. So you'll see Sneaker Pass. Um, yeah. So once you leave it at that, if every, let's say every minute, so once it hits every let's say if it's 119 and it goes to 120 and it doesn't refresh yet, I would like to go back every minute, and I like to just refresh it, and then I'll go back into Sneaker Pass. That way, Reserve Now can appear. Now, what I might do is I might make a backup where it'll just go back and forward until Reserve Now shows. So I might have that tomorrow morning. I'll see if I have time for that. But for now, you go back to your Sneaker Pass. You see reservations opening soon, and then all you're gonna have to do is you just go to your Sneaker Pass and then run the main three. So you're gonna run reserve, minimize, reserve now. Don't worry about this. Like I said, it'll find it. I just closed it. All right. Don't worry about that, and then submit. So those three is good to go. And to show you what I mean by by this, right? So we're gonna close this. And we're gonna close this as well. And this is fine. So what I mean is I think one of the other files have that issue. No, it wasn't this. All right. So yeah, so don't worry about that error. It's gonna be fine. I don't know why it's doing that, but it actually works, believe it or not. So oh, see, look, submit is not there anymore. Reserve now is not there. Yeah, so it's really random, but you're good to go. Yeah, so that's it. So there, see, it shows up. All right, so it's pretty much it. You leave those three running, and then it should work. It should go through. So we got the Sakai's coming out, and hopefully everything works out just fine. You got everything that you need. You've already enabled your virtualization. Your settings are good. You got the right files that you need, and that's it. Now, the last thing you need to do is you need to make sure your Android ID is matching the one in your Android devices. That's why I said you need an Android device. So what you need to do is you need to just download the same app, device ID, onto your phone, and then when you open it, it's the very top. So this is my Android device ID. So if I want to change it, so let's say I want to change it to I'm gonna copy this one. So let's say I want to change it to this one, just for shits and giggles. You're gonna go to device ID mask. You're gonna allow, and then on bottom half, you're gonna scroll down. You're gonna keep scrolling down until you see device current Android ID. Boom. So you're gonna click on this. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll see like a little lime color cursor. You already copy it. You can just paste it by hitting Control V, and then you hit apply. Now, whenever you do that, you have to restart. So you remember the last four is A089. We're gonna go ahead and restart this real quick. So once it restarts, we're gonna open device ID, and then once you open it, the ID should change to the one that we already had. See, boom, now it changed. A089. That's it. So that's one thing you should be doing. You should do that before you open Sneaker Pass or whatnot. You want to make sure your ID is already there because once you reserve your Sneaker Pass, then when you open the sneakers app on your phone, as long as it has the same ID and they both matching, you should see View Pass instead of invalid devices. So that's pretty much it. So you have any questions, just hit me up. Let me know. Oh, one thing too is whenever you open sneakers, once again, let's just recap a few things. We're gonna open this. You're gonna clear data, re-bypass, and then when you re-bypass, you'll just everything gets bypassed. Cool. You're gonna leave that open. Then you're gonna open your maps. Your map should still be in New York because you haven't changed your map here. Cool. You're gonna go back to your home screen. Then you open your sneakers. When you open sneakers, you just full screen it, leave it full screen, and once everything is full screen, then you run your scripts. Once your sneaker pass comes up, make sure you just refresh it. It shouldn't take you that much, that long to refresh. Usually like up to 10 seconds. Depends on your internet speed or whatnot. So, yeah. So that's it, man. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And yeah, let's go ahead and cook these Sakai tomorrow. It's your boy D Nice of Fly Nation, and I'm out. Peace.